Because I may be remembering a bunch of crap when it comes to these notes, but I'm sure. All I was saying, right? All I was saying is if you. If you were a nurse, right, who's been arrested and like let's just imagine like this Pokemon card is a piece of paper, right? And my arm is a table, right? And you're on that side, and I go, so just for fun, could you just confess to all of this? But do it from the mindset if you did actually do this. Who does that? Like who's gonna go, okay? No one's gonna do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But maybe they are. Maybe they are, Ron. Maybe they trust it. I don't know. We need to find out where these notes came from. Someone can tell me in the side chat. Someone will know. But unless do you think someone could have convinced her that she did do it? I know that sounds stupid, right? But if we look at all of the mankiness that's been reported and the terrible medical service that's allegedly been going on, could you not, as a nurse, be convinced that you had done this? Like, do you think that's possible? And not from a serial unaliver point of view, from a I've been convinced that I have done a terrible thing I didn't even realize I was doing, but because I'm the nurse, I should have been aware of it. Could it be that? I mean, is that a thing? If Uber, you're saying yes to me, then okay, interesting. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. If you're held for a month in interrogation, I think you convince that something is green is yellow. That's a bloody good point. Recently, a friend of ours was stuck in a jail cell for 3 days, and the story that she came out with, and she's just a normal lady. She's like a normal lady, right? Like a normal lady, no horrible crimes or anything like that, slapped in there. And her the way that she reported to be treated was shocking, right? And she hadn't done anything to any babies. Do you know what I mean? So you can imagine the stigma of going in there. It's interesting, right? Like it's interesting. I'm not saying that's what's happened. I'm not saying that she is innocent or isn't innocent. I'm just saying this guy. In fact, do you know what? Who is this guy? Let's get some names here. Like, don't just keep telling me the medics. Who are these people? Who are these people? International expert panel. Oh man. That looks like, when you're like 6 or 7 years old and you're coming up with a plan, like the Home Alone plan, right? Dwight Schrute's plan. Do you know what I'm saying? International expert panel. And then you've got a stock image of some guys walking. Please tell me this is not what they handed in, right? Like this is somebody's made this, right? Somebody's made this as a visual tool. Please tell me that's the case. Senior investigating officers. Okay, no one cares. I want to know the names of these people. Where are your names? Right? Yeah. Let's have a look here. Well, let's see what Lucy Letby's barrister's got to say. I apologize if an advert starts out of nowhere and gives somebody a heart attack in your property. I'm not responsible for that because these adverts come out of nowhere.
Today I put in now.
Did you all just see that? Did you just see the advert about to start and then stop? Did you see that? Because it got me again.
Today I put in now 23 expert reports.
Good.
From 24 experts from across the realm, covering 8 separate countries. Those expert reports completely demolished the prosecution's case that was put before the jury. It is now hoped that the CCRC.
Why would you start as a tram's going by? Like,
it will not take long to look at this evidence and refer it back to the Court of Appeal. This matter needs to be reviewed as a matter of urgency. And these reports.
So what is the problem with reviewing it? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like at any point, if a panel of experts bring forward a report, it's kind of the duty of the judicial system to look at that and investigate it. It doesn't mean that they're admitting to being wrong. It just means that no one's perfect. And maybe this government's giving us reason to think they're a bit of a scallywag. Do you know what I'm saying? Has to be significant evidence to be reviewed by the CCRC. Okay. And again, I just want to reiterate, I'm not saying Lucy Letby's innocent. I'm 100% willing to rip open the Band-Aid and have a discussion about the possibilities that the judicial system is flawed. That's a better way of summarizing this. Sorry, we got 32 seconds into this before I sidetracked us.
Reports show that no crime was committed. That is the conclusion of Professor Shoo Lee and the international panel.
Professor Shoo Lee, thank you, Professor Shoo Lee. Right, hang on a minute. Did they spell his name in this? Yeah, right, nice. Okay. Okay, that is not Professor Shoo Lee. Oh, yes, it is. Is it? I don't know. I need to find out who these people are.
And the international panel that has reviewed everything. And it's clear now, if that's the case, this case needs to be put before the Court of Appeal, and we can't delay any further. As you know, I was instructed afterwards, I was not the defence team at trial. What I do
I can't stop looking at his ear hair. I can't stop looking at his ear hair.
know is that you can't just simply go expert shopping. You can't just go and find another doctor that comes up with a different opinion. That is not what I've done. I've gone to the best in the realm.
That's not what the family say you've done, though.
Let me answer your question. We'll come back to you.
Okay.
I'm going to answer your question. I've gone to the best in the realm. I've gone to the people that wrote the book, the people that wrote the papers, the people. This is the biggest review of neonatology in the criminal justice system in this country ever completed, ever done. This blows the case out of the water. We had a second follow-up question. What was that?
So I was going to say, have you seen those defence reports then? And what you're saying is that this evidence is different to what's in those defence reports?
This evidence here, it completely demolishes everything that was called at trial. Completely.
And it completely gives trial is what I'm talking
it completely demolishes. This is a completely fresh and new approach to the whole of the neonatology medical records that was put before the jury.
This is a completely fresh approach. I don't know if I like that. Dr. Shoo Lee. Hang on, let me try that. Ah, yes, that's Dr. Shoo Lee. Thank you. Thank you in the side chat. I had a lady and I'd spelled her name wrong and it brought up the wrong person. Okay, Mr. Dr. Shoo Lee. Who is Dr. Lucy? Yes, here we go. Right. Why this retired Canadian doctor may be the last chance to prove monster Yuki baby unaliver Lucy Letby's innocence. Oh. All right. Okay. University of Toronto professor Iramatis Dr. Shoo Lee was busy with the harvest on his farm in Hay Lakes, Alta, the first time he heard the name Lucy Letby. How long is this? Okay. The British nurse. Oh, yep. Sick infants already clinging to life. Front page of the headrest. But in October 23, she was unknown to Lee, the former head of pediatrics at Mount Sing Hospital. Mount St. Hospital, founded in 1852, one of the oldest and largest teaching hospitals in the United States, is located in East Harlem in New York City, borough of Manhattan, the eastern border of Central Province of Virginia. Okay, non-profit hospital teaching. It has a 3-star review from Yelp. I don't know what that means. If you're going to be laid up in hospital for okay, let's see. If you're going to be laid up in hospital for almost 2 weeks like I was, this is definitely the place to be. I can laugh about it now, but obviously it was not very funny at the time. 5 stars. St. Francis Emergency Unit was almost comically evil. I threw up at least 8 times on the floor and I was injured. It was only after my mother visited me and the nurses who were taunting me and other patients. I'm not in a place, this is not the place to go for emergencies. This is not the emergency department here. So I recommend going down the street to St. Francis Hospital. This is a rehab and educational facility. Okay, well, that makes sense why you probably had a terrible time as a patient there. All right. And world leading there was an email that came from the lawyer in the UK asking if I could look at a case. A 68-year-old recalled Wednesday in a telephone interview from London. I thought it was a bit of spam initially. When does one get a lawyer from the UK contacting you? Once the wheat, canola, and barley had been dealt with. Oh my God, is Tolkien? Is this a Tolkien novel, mate? Like, okay. In 1980, okay. Was a doctor in training at St. John's Health Centre in London. These are pretty prestigious places, I think this guy has worked at. Lee was a doctor in training in St. Joseph Health Centre in London when he encountered 3 cases of air embolism. When air bubbles introduced into the bloodstream, into anyone's bloodstream, man. There had only been 57 reported cases in the world at the time. Lee wrote up a review of the available information that explained what was happening and how doctors could recognize and treat the condition. He's also identified a telltale diagnostic sign to prevent on the skin of these cases a bright red blood vessels against a blush background, something known today as the Lee sign. All right, so I've not got time to read all of this, but I think we can probably put a pin in this guy is probably an actual world leading expert. Okay. Like, he's so good at his job that the terminology for spotting an illness or something that could actually hurt a child is named after him because he's so badass at his job. Okay? I had a burger named after me at a cafe once, right? So I know what it's like to be top of your game, right? Put a 1 in the side chat, right? Hang on. The issue is that channels who are not medically trained or have ever worked the NHS are leading others away from the fact. I'm sorry. Does Dr. Shoo Lee, does he have a channel? Are you talking about me, Crackerjacks? Because I'm reading statements here. I don't claim to be giving medical advice. Do you know what I'm saying? God damn. Check your facts, my G. Oh, wow, wait. Okay, sorry. I never seen the purple hair. I'm sorry, Snowflake. I'm sorry. Okay, please. So, if this guy is this level of expert, regardless of how we feel, is it not our duty? In fact, is the very reason that we have courts of appeal, miscarriages of justice courts, are for when individuals who have the authority within a field, if they come forward and say, hey, look, I'm really sorry about this stock image on the front of this review and the fact that we've called it international review, ignore that, but give it a read, please. Do we have the right as a society to ignore that just because of our feelings and the ickiness of this case? Do we have a right to do that? What do you think? Thank you, KLG. So am I. I don't think we have the right to ignore it. Doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean she's innocent. That's not the point I'm making. Okay? The point I'm making is, do we have the right to ignore an expert of this caliber if they see something that's wrong? It's not about if she's innocent or not. The question is, do we have the right to ignore that? And would you want to live in a society that would ignore that? Because I think this opens up a fascinating opportunity for debate, for looking at how public reaction and how the style of crime can sometimes lead to all kinds of mistakes being made, to deliver a pound of flesh